Hey guys, so it's another Q&A session and uh, I honestly think that I'm gonna like this kind of format. So the question is, uh, how can I make the outline for the floating damage that we use with the Niagara? So before we start, you should know that you should have seen my previous tutorial, so you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about. So we need to modify several places. I'm gonna start with the weapon base class. It's my blueprint that I used for my weapon, obviously. And if you remember, we use render target so we can print the text to the texture and use it in the material. So then we apply this material to the Niagara sprite. The reason why it didn't work with outline previously is that for my purpose and for my tutorial, I used only one channel in the render target. And it means that if we have outline and the main text, they both cover the same area. But to change this, we need to actually have two different channels, and the red channel going to be used with the main text, and the green channel we're going to use with the outline. In the function called draw floating damage, we see create render target. We need to change the format from R8 to RG8. Next, here we have the draw text, the main function. So we need to select an outline and we need to change two things. Render color, it should be red, and the outline color should be green. So 1 0 0 0 1 0. So if you remember from my previous tutorial, here in the blueprint I used several variables so I can pass this data to the Niagara system, and based on the events I can change the effects dynamically. Just how I made it here in the init floating damage data function, based on the damage calculated, whether I hit a target or I missed or the damage was blocked, I'm gonna switch the value from, like, if I miss it's white, if I hit it's orange. And this function is called every time it hit the target. Why I'm saying this? The approach might be different from yours, so here I'm gonna explain how I did it in my case. So we also need to have sort of control over the outline tint. So on the left you may see that I have two variables, floating damage text tint, it's the linear color, and floating damage outline tint. As these variables change dynamically, but it also depends on the approach that you will use, I don't need to change the outline color every time I hit a target, so I can just select it here, and that's gonna be it. So right now it's a black one. For the purpose of demonstration, I'm gonna change it maybe to blue one, right? And it looks like this. So now we need to go back to the draw floating damage function and add some extra nodes. So previously we had only one control set Niagara variable where we provide the damage text tint color, and we should do the same but for our outline, and the variable that I have here is the name that I'm going to use next in the Niagara system. It's the floating damage outline tint, so it's also the linear color. Also guys, a few words about the quality and resolution of your render target. You may see that I also changed the tooltip here because I find it a little bit confusing from the start, so this definition is more correct. So in my approach, I have the vector2 variable called damage dimensions, which I use here to define the size of my render target. So the higher size of your render target is, you'll get the more precisely and sharp results. But if you have like the low quality of render target, it will be kind of blurry. So uh, I made my system the way that the size is defined right up here in code, but it should be equal or nearly equal of the size of your font. So let's say if my render target is 16, right? And the size of the font is also 16, so if it's gonna be way too high, not gonna be correctly captured inside of the render target. It should be out of the bounds. So if I launch the game and I start to shoot, you may see that numbers are kinda blurry. But if I change those values to higher, that's gonna be 32, and change the font to 28, the result's gonna be much better. We also need to scale a little bit the font, maybe here or in the shader, but it's also like the matter of taste. I also need to warn you that the size of the outline is kinda hard-coded in the engine source code, so it's 1 pixel width and you cannot do anything here with the blueprint. So it's kinda limitation, but I'm gonna have the new tutorial where I'm gonna help you to make any kind of outline just by using the simple texture, the shape of your whatever it is. We're gonna calculate the edge area and then by sampling out more samples, extrude it in all the dimensions and then use sharp mask to blur and some extra math to make it more sharp and more clean. So that's a project I'm gonna show you in a few days. Can be used even here. Moving up next, it's our Niagara system. So here on the left, we need to define one more user attribute. The one is called floating damage outline tint, and it should be linear color. So next, what we need to make in initialized particle module. Here we need to change the color mode back to the direct set, and for the color here we can actually leave it as is, but I just made it black but with the opacity of 1. Next, we need to add the new module called dynamic material parameters. So simply at the particle spawn, look for dynamic material parameters. And here we have 4 of them, 0, 1, 2, and 3 indexes. And we can change those values to be different type of. And we need to have the linear color. So for the index of 0, it's going to be our base or text color, and the index of 1 is going to be our outline. And here we can press, it will open up the drop-down menu. We can go for our user attributes. So select them for the text and for the outline, respectively. And the last part is to modify our material floating damage. So from my previous video it looks a little bit different because I have more data to expose. From our render target, the red channel gonna be the text mask, and as the outline builds up not from the edge of the let's call it font, but from the inside of it, so it's gonna be in and out like extrudement. I don't know how to say it correctly. So the idea is that we need to clean it up a little bit so the colors in the text and our outline won't be mixed together. So for this, from the green channel, and it's our outline basically, we need to subtract the font, our text mask, and saturate it. Next, we need to add 2 more nodes. It's called dynamic parameter. So simply look for the dynamic parameter. Index of 0 is for our text, index of 1 is for our outline. Basically, what we did here. Next, we need to implement it right up here. And as our outputs there are linear colors, we need to use the RGBA. I also leave particle color and I use alpha as the global opacity mask. So here in the Niagara, in the module scale color, you may see that I have the scale alpha and I use the curve. So once the number appears, it should fade smoothly. So that's why I use it here as the main controller. And we need to modify two more things, our final color and our opacity. So for the text color, we multiply by the text mask, so we change one part of image. The same we go for our outline, and we add everything together and provide it as our emissive color. For the opacity, we simply need to add our masks together, so we get the full silhouette or the full shape, and multiply by our global opacity controller, just like this. So another one quick demonstration. So let's our outline to be, I don't know, red, and our color, let's go with the black one. So basically it will look like this. And we can make it vice versa, like this, and like this. So guys, I hope it was useful for you, and as always, please subscribe to my channel, leave your feedback, press like button and share with your friends. And in case if you want to support me monetarily, you can always visit my Patreon. So, see you soon.